Hey everybody, and now welcome to the vocabulary lesson 146. And now we're going to be talking about perpendicular and angle here. Okay, so now perpendicular is, I'll tell you what it means right now. So perpendicular means at an angle of 90 to a given line, plane, or surface. Dormers and gables that extend perpendicular to the main roof line. Similar, at right angles at 90 degrees squared, denoting the latest stage of English Gothic church architecture prevalent from the late 14th to mid 16th centuries and characterized by broad arches, arches, elaborate fan vaulting and large windows with vertical tracery. The handsome perpendicular Church of St. Andrew, a straight line at an angle of 90 point to a given line, plane, or surface. At each division, draw a perpendicular representing the surface line. All right, here we go. All right, let's see here. Synonyms, plumb lines, and then a noun is an extremely steep face. Noun, a Gothic style in 14th and 15th century England, characterized by vertical lines and a four-centered Tudor arch and van vaulting. Synonyms, which is English Gothic, English Gothic architecture, perpendicular style. Synonyms, steep, having a sharp inclination. Noun, a straight line at right angles to another line. See less, type of straight line, a line traced by a point traveling in a constant direction, a line of zero curvature. Noun, a cord from which a metal weight is suspended pointing directly to the Earth's center of gravity, used to determine the vertical from a given point. Measure the perpendicular perpendicular height. Synonyms, vertical, steep, having a sharp inclination, plumb, exactly vertical, appended, turned upon end, unsloped, upright, in a vertical position, not sloping, straight, having no deviations. Adjective, which is extremely steep, the great perpendicular face of the cliff. Synonyms, which is steep, having a sharp inclination, a straight line at right angles to another line. That's what it is. And then, let's see here. Perpendicular means indistinct, upright, downtrodden, functional. That's what it is. Perpendicular means a straight line at an angle of 90 to a given line, plane, or surface. At each division, draw a perpendicular representing the surface line. Perpendicular is a straight line at an angle of 90 to a given line, plane, or surface. Perpendicular is a straight line at an angle of 90 to a given line, plane, or surface. At each division, At each division, draw a perpendicular representing the surface line. Having a sharp pitch or slope, steep. Initial capital letter, noting or pertaining to the last style of English Gothic architecture, prevailing from the late 14th through the early 16th century and characterized by the use of predominantly vertical tracery and overall linear linear, new word, shallow effect, and fine intricate stonework. A perpendicular line or plane, an instrument for indicating the vertical line from any point. An upright position. Intersecting at or forming right angles. The axes are perpendicular to each other. Synonyms: normal, forming a right angle. Orthogonal, rectangular, having a set of mutually perpendicular axes meeting at right angles. Right, having the axes perpendicular to the base. See more. At right angles to the plane of the horizon or a baseline. Measure the perpendicular height. Synonyms, which is vertical, steep, having a sharp inclination. Other forms. Perpendiculars. Two lines that form a T are perpendicular to each other. They meet at a right angle. A person who is standing is perpendicular to the earth. Use perpendicular to describe lines, angles, and direction in geometry. A perpendicular angle is 90 degrees, a perfect L on a compass. East and north are perpendicular to each other. The term can be used more generally to describe any steep angle. You might talk about a ski slope that is nearly perpendicular, but that's impossible since gravity would make you fall off a 90-degree angle. But if it's close enough, no one's really measuring. See less. Types. Tudor architecture, a style of English Gothic architecture popular during the Tudor period, characterized by half-timbered houses. Type of Gothic architecture, a style of architecture developed in northern France that spread throughout Europe between the 12th and 16th centuries. Characterized by slender vertical piers and counterbalancing buttresses, buttresses, and by vaulting and pointed arches. Perpendicular means a straight line out of 90-degree angle. In my class, I learned about the perpendicular lines. Perpendicular is an angle of 90 degrees. The X was places on a perpendicular angle. Number 1. Standing at right angles to the plane of the horizon, exactly upright. Being at right angles to a given line or plane. Extremely steep, precipitous. Precipitous. Often capitalized of the relating to a medieval English Gothic style of architecture in which vertical lines are predominant, relating to, uniting, or consisting of individuals of dissimilar type or on different levels. Perpendicular is a noun, a line at right angles to a line or plane, as of the horizon. She lives on the street that is perpendicular to mine. River rafters, staring awestruck at the canyon's nearly perpendicular cliffs, a perpendicular line, exactly vertical or upright, forming a right angle with each other or with a given line or plane, formal, at an angle of 90 to a horizontal line or surface. We scrambled up the most perpendicular side of the mountain. Mathematics. At an angle of 90 to another line or surface, the wheel rotates around an axis that is perpendicular to the plane. A perpendicular line. Draw a perpendicular from the vertex of the triangle to its base. A perpendicular position or direction. The wall was leaning at an angle of 10 degrees to the perpendicular. Geometry. At an angle of 90 to another line or surface, two perpendicular lines form a right angle. Perpendicular is also standing or rising straight up. The cliff was nearly perpendicular and impossible to climb. The distance and the force have to be perpendicular. Force pushing perpendicular to the velocity of the object. A perpendicular mid-height ridge runs through the sheet. The researchers apply stress perpendicular to the direction of shear and then applied forces to shear the ground quartz. Instead, nature painted the big cat with parallel stripes, evenly spaced and perpendicular to the spine. That string is also vibrating up and down, creating wiggles that are perpendicular to the direction the string is traveling. Number 1, vertical, straight up and down, upright. Number 2, meeting a given line or surface at right angles. Number 3, maintaining a standing or upright position, standing up. All right, here we go. So now we're going to go to angle here. So now, angle means the space, usually measured in degrees. The space is usually measured in degrees. The space, usually measured in degrees. Between two intersecting lines or surfaces at or close to the point where they meet. In any triangle, the longest side is opposite the largest angle. Similar, gradient, slant, inclination, geometrical, and a geometrical relation. Whatever, but a particular way of approaching or considering an issue or problem, discussing the problems from every conceivable angle. Similar, perspective, way of looking at something, point of view, viewpoint, standpoint, position, side, aspect, slant, direction, approach, outlook, light. Direct or incline at an angle. He angled his chair so that he could watch her. Similar, tilt, slant, point, direct, aim, turn. Angled, placed or inclined at an angle to something else. He sent an angled shot into the net. Angle means is how someone is standing. What is your angle? What is your angle of this issue? Angle is a space that is usually measured in degrees. Angle, meaning a figure formed by two rays which start from a common point. A plane angle, or by three planes that intersect, a solid angle. The measure of such a figure, in the case of a plane angle, this is the ratio, or proportional to the ratio, of the arc length to the radius of a section of a circle cut by the two rays centered at their common point. In the case of a solid angle, this is the ratio of the surface area to the square of the radius of the section of a sphere. A corner where two walls intersect. Angle, synonyms: swerve, opinion, perspective, point of view, slant, viewpoint, gone corner. An angle is a slant. An angle is a slant. An angle is a slant. Okay? Angle means the space, usually measured in degrees. Usually measured in degrees. Between two intersecting lines or surfaces at or close to the point where they meet. My car is parked on an angle. Therefore, I have to be careful when I drive. A verb, angled, angles, angling, to move or turn something at an angle. Angle the chair toward the window. To move or bend at an angle or by means of angles. To fish with the hook and line. To try to get something by indirect or artful means. Angle for a promotion. To hit a ball or puck, for example, at an angle. That's what it is, folks. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys what an angle is, okay? So here. Now, see this here? This is a positive angle right here. See the one that shows the line and stuff? Line here and there? There's an arrow right here. And over here, this is a negative angle. Positive angle, negative angle, positive angle, negative angle. You see the line that's going that way, and then the arrow's pointing this way. See this? Now this is different. The arrow is pointing on the top. The arrow is pointing on the bottom. Positive angle, the arrow is pointing on the top. And then the negative angle, the arrow is pointing on the bottom. Arrow's pointing on the top, and the arrow's pointing on the bottom, right here, between positive angle and negative angle, right here. See this? See this here? Now, this is the angle right here. Arrow here, and there, and there. So in here, 360 full spin as around the circle, which is a 360 degree angle. So now you see this here, that's a circle there. And over here, that looks like a letter L, 90 degree. And over here, looks like an I, 180 degree. And over here, it's a circle. The circle is 360 degree, right here. And over here, it's like a triangle, like a roof on the house. 90 degree angle. And over here, this is like a corner there. 90 degree angle. A 90 degree left angle. Alright, this is the 90 degree left angle here. And over here, this is a 90 degree right angle over here. So, alright, this is a left angle. This is a right angle. Left angle, right angle. Right angle. Left angle, right angle. Right over here. Well, that's it, folks. The lesson is over. Hope you guys enjoy the lesson.